All right, praise the Lord, everybody. Just want to do this real quick video just to talk about my last video. I had some interesting comments and questions. I did a video on how the pre-tribulation rapture is false. I didn't use any of the normal scriptures that people use because I like to talk about God's character, and I'm trying to teach people God's character here and how God is consistent. And so anyway, the last video did talk about the falsehoods of the pre-tribulation rapture and how we are the bride of Christ, and how the bride, God is looking for a bride that was without spot, without blemish, without wrinkle, which means that he's looking for a mature church. And here in the United States, we have not learned to love each other the way that we're supposed to. God says to love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is one of the highest commandments, right up there with love the Lord, thy God with all thy heart, might, and soul, right? So that's very, very important to God. That teaches us God's character. This is very important to God, that we love each other the way that we're supposed to. The only way that we're going to love each other is, of course, through persecution. There were some people that brought up some comments and said that we are not appointed to God's wrath. They were talking about 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 9, which is very true. Now, we have to understand God's character here, okay? Now, God will allow us to go through things, okay? He won't deliver us from it, but he'll allow us to go through it, okay? Like, the Hebrews that were in Egypt, right? And they had to go through all the plagues. They were living in the land of Goshen, which is kind of like a suburb of Egypt, but they were still living there in Egypt, and they still had to go through the plagues, okay? I'm sure that they still had to suffer because, they were living off the Egyptians. So, a lot of the trade goods, this and that, and blah, 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 leeks, garlic, everything that they liked, often would come from, the Egyptians or vice versa. They would trade with each other. But anyway, just like us, I'm sure they suffered a little bit, but it was not as bad as the Egyptians suffered. So the Egyptians suffered the full force of God's wrath. Well, not the full force, but they suffered God's wrath. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the Israelites were still in the land, neighboring, and they still had to go through the plagues. So this gives us an insight of God's character and what he's like. He did not deliver them, okay, at that point in time. They were not appointed to God's wrath, but they went through it, okay? Just like the 3 Hebrew boys. They had to go through the fire. Ooh, man, that's a good one right there. So that tells us about God's character and what he's like, okay? There was other times I can give you a lot of instances, a lot of stories where they had to go through things, you know what I mean? And God didn't instantaneously deliver them, you know what I mean? When they had to walk through the desert for, they walked there for 40 years because of their mumbling and grumbling. Did God deliver them instantaneously? No, he did not. He sent plagues as well. There was vipers that went over there. And, they had to set up this bronze serpent, which is Nehushtan, I believe that's the way it's pronounced. But that's the symbol for medicine that we have nowadays. Is that so they set up this bronze serpent statue, and they had to look at it in order for them to be healed, and that's found in the book of Numbers. But anyway, they had to go through all these things, okay? God did not instantaneously deliver them from anything, so they had to go through it. This reveals God's character. So what makes us think that we're so special? We are not special. Like I said in my last video, the first church had to suffer persecution. They had to go through persecution. We have to do the same. Like I said, the church here in the United States has not learned to love each other like other churches in third world countries, like in China and all these other places in the Middle East, where if you are a Christian, they will literally kill you. So these people love each other because their lives are at stake. They watch out for each other's back, I have had friends that said that they would rather go to church in prison because they just got out of prison, and they're like, man, church in prison is so awesome. And I come out here and you guys are totally divided. You guys fight amongst each other for, doctrinal issues and this and that and dress and all this other stuff. And don't go to that church because they dress funny, or, they believe this or they believe that. See, and we fight and mumble and grumble amongst each other. Why? Because we don't love each other the way we're supposed to. It's pretty sad, but, in prison, he was telling me, man, we watch each other's back, man. It's a brotherhood. He goes, man, the church there in prison is awesome. And why is that? Because they have persecution. Okay? So persecution is going to catapult, like I said, the church into a revival. It's going to catapult the church into loving each other biblically the way it's supposed to. And this is why I believe that we will go through the tribulation. Now, I hope and pray that the church learns its lesson right away and we can leave mid-tribulation, but I have a feeling that we're going to probably stay all the way until the post-tribulation. And this is why I tell people that we should be prepared for you to store up some water, some food, and get all these things, flashlights, batteries, first aid kits, whatever it is that you need to help you go through that last 3.5 years, which is going to be really, really bad. So this is why I tell people, just start storing up, start saving up. It's not going to hurt for you to store and start saving up. It will benefit you greatly. And even if I'm wrong, hey, say we get, or if I'm right, we get mid-tribulation, get taken away. You don't have to use all that food and water. That's okay. But you don't want to be stuck without it where you don't have any food and you didn't store up, you didn't save, and then you're wrong. And then, so it's, like I said, I believe that the great falling away is going to be because a lot of people believe that Jesus was going to come and he never did. And then until post-tribulation, and they're going to be, their heart is going to be really, really hardened towards God. And they're going to get upset and they're going to get angry. And it's not going to be good. So this is why I tell everybody, just prepare yourself. Be ready for it. If you have any other comments or great questions, feel free and DM me. Okay, I hope this video has helped you in some sort of way. God bless you.